Quick shout out to my Jonin Ninja members, Radium TX and Paling Tan, and my Chunin Ninja members, Raygun 972, Wakan Yosai, Rage 1, Scorpion King 3, Meat Salad, and Soul Galaxia. Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to another Star Citizen Nightly. I hope you checked out our rebalancing video because 30 ships just got rebalanced. The Redeemer was one of them, and you might want to sit down before you watch that one, especially if you're a Redeemer owner. Anyway, this one is going to be we're going to kind of change the way we do these a little bit. Now, for the most part, the Star Citizen Nightlies are going to be the same. You know, I'm going to go through and read the stuff that was on the website and, you know, share my insights a little bit. But at the end, I'm actually going to watch the Star Citizen ISC video. So I saved that to the end because I know everybody's not interested in that, but I have had a few people DM me and kind of say that they kind of like those videos. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that at the end of the Star Citizen Nightly. So for the people who don't, you know, particularly care about watching somebody do a reaction to the Star Citizen Nightly, you can just head out after that. Just go ahead and head out. Yeah, you can just go on, you know, doors. Wait, it's that way. What? How do I do it? Is it that way? Yeah. Door's that way. Is it? I think the door's that way. Yeah. Anyway, let's just hop into it. Not a whole lot going on, except there kind of is. So before I go into everything else, I do want to talk about a few things that have changed outside of, you know, I just mentioned the rebalancing thing, but we got mechs now in game. The Zeuses are coming. That's what this video is about. MFDs are changing. They're taking things out of the pause screen and putting them on an MFD. Like, a lot of things are changing in Star Citizen right now, and I want to just talk a little bit about how uncharacteristic that is. That this doesn't happen. It's very rare that before CitizenCon we get a bunch of stuff. Now, we had a little bit of a lull period before this month, but we had 2 ship sales. Just think in the last 2 weeks, 2 ship sales, the announcement of mechs, website change, launcher update, like a bunch of stuff is happening, and this is a little uncharacteristic for CIG. So I'm glad that they've found a way to fill up this month, because I did not want it to just be a super plain month. And another thing, I did drop the freelancer video, so go check that out. But I'm also going to be doing the Expanse one, and that'll release at some weird time, probably tonight. So if you see that, just know that was supposed to be before the freelancer one. So anyway, yeah, it's an interesting time to be a Star Citizen fan. So I don't know what this medevac rescue light is, but I'm mad that I don't have one. So if anybody wants to gift me a medevac rescue light, contact me and I will give you my information so you can give me one of those. I don't know what it does, but I am interested in pertaining one. Wait, pertaining? No, obtaining one. Yes. I don't want to pertain it. I want to obtain it. Yes. Anyway, continuing. It is not coming for 3.24 or 3.24.1. So they were just saying that a few days ago. This one's a little old, but I guess people were saying that it was going to, we were going to get it. Now, it says created June 7, 2024. And I'm like, I don't remember them selling that. Maybe they sold it with the Ursa Medevac, because that seems like it's around the time the Ursa Medevac was announced. So I don't know, but I don't remember getting one of those. So doesn't look like it's subscriber stuff, but I'll check and see if I got one. I don't think I got one though. So this is older patch note. So this is from yesterday. So this one is really just talking about stability, bug fixes, and we have the Argo ATLS. it had already become available for all PTU backers, but this is the big thing that changed with this one. Besides the bug fixes, you can pause and read all the bug fixes. They are knocking out bug fixes, and the 3.24.1 patch is more stable than the 3.24 patch was. So the hot fixes and all the bug fixes they've been doing have really helped a lot. I'm still not going to be hopping in a whole lot outside of like doing ship reviews until after CitizenCon, because I'm waiting for 4.0. But I do like notice that it's getting better consistently. So yes, the collision damage is now prevented for tractor beamed entities. So what was happening is people would get into their ATLS and then they would fling this box, this 1SCU box, and it would just boom, 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 and it would like, it might blow up, like blow stuff up, or like you would sit it down. You're moving it slowly, but even though you're moving it slowly, it would like bang up against something and it would cause damage anyway, even if you're moving it slowly. So I think they just took that out. Like, because I think the idea is if you had more finer motor control, you wouldn't be bumping it into stuff like that. If we were actually in the mech suit. So they just got rid of the collision damage for while it's tractor beam to keep people from just like having to even worry about that. So I respect that. It's a little unrealistic, but I think they can switch that back on once the game is closer to like 1.0. Like, I think you pull out all the realism stuff, or you pull it back even further to make it more gamey, and then you slowly add it back when it's stable and like it works properly and all the systems are there to support it. And so that's what it looks like they're doing. At least with that. I can't say that about everything, but with that, that's what they're doing. All right, and then we have another patch note. So this one was today. So this one was about 12 p.m. Same thing. They still want, you know, people walking around in the ATLS, the mech, and they're still doing stability and bug fixes, which I appreciate. That's the primary thing that's going on in the PTU right now. Is they're just trying to fix everything. So the PTU is live right now, and if you want to go in there and fix some stuff, do these things. These are the known issues, right? So you can test things around this, but the biggest thing is they want you inside this thing doing stuff and identifying new bugs and stuff like that. So there you have it. This is the big one, and this is where we'll spend the majority of this video, outside of the Inside Star Citizen thing that's next after this. So this is the Squadron 42 monthly report. It looks like, when you look at the AI stuff, it looks like this was all what do you want the character to do, the AI character, the NPC, to do? Like, do you want them to give away that you're about to fight enemies by like ducking down as soon as like the enemy announces itself? Maybe you didn't notice, but like the NPC gets down and you're like, oh, we must be about to fight, right? Or that kind of breaks the immersion a little bit. Or do you want them to be like, have a set time where they're like, oh, I know, obviously the game knows what's about to happen and we don't, but it looks like they're focusing on making sure that happens at realistic moments and it doesn't break the immersion. So that's really great. They also, and this is how you can kind of track these, they're working on the follow along path task. So leading and situational awareness and following. Then there's the first reactions. How do they respond to audio and visual events? And I think this is all really cool stuff, and it's all stuff that matters for Squadron 42. So it's really important to remember a lot of stuff that they work on for Squadron 42, we will get back. Like, we will get some of that in Star Citizen. So for people who are brand new and you're like, what is Squadron 42? Because I know there's at least a few of you. Squadron 42 is the partner game to Star Citizen. So Squadron 42 will be like the campaign mode. If you think Call of Duty, it'll be like the campaign mode, and then the multiplayer mode is Star Citizen. And we all know that the campaign mode of Call of Duty is not really the primary mode for Call of Duty. It's the multiplayer mode. Same thing here, where Star Citizen is the MMO. It's an MMO, obviously, not just, a shooter like Call of Duty, but that's the main part of the game, whereas Squadron 42 is episodic. So we'll get Squadron 42 episode 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Yeah. So moving on, we got AI tech. So alongside some small improvements in bug fixing, AI tech worked on editor functionality. So this is subsumption stuff. This is all good. This is background stuff though. So working on animations for repairing and inspecting the Gladius and Hornet. So one of the reasons I like looking into these is because sometimes you get little updates like this, and these little updates will show you like exactly what to expect, for Star Citizen. So if we might get repairing, like I know it's just animations, but what I'm saying is we might be getting more repair stuff coming by seeing what Squadron 42 is looking at and saying, oh, well, maybe that might translate over. Now, it's still like up in the air what we'll actually get. But the thing is, we can kind of say maybe this is the direction they're going, because if you look at another video that I did, we talked about how they are doing the location repair. And so if you look and say, okay, they're doing location repair and they're going to have tools around that, and then you look at Squadron 42 and you say they're working on animation sets for repair and inspecting, then that that leads me more down the path of thinking repair is coming. Like that might be the next major game loop that is coming. Now we already have repair a little bit, but I'm thinking like a more developed game loop. Like we got mining and it's a developed game loop all the way through, like all the way from getting the rock to refining it to selling the refined materials and everything. It's all refined, right? Same thing with salvage, right? And so I think repair is a great loop to just put in, because I need my Vulcan, all right? That's going to be my daily driver, and that's the ship that I need, because I want to go around and repair people's stuff, and I want to learn how to be the best repairman that I can be. Anyway, so they refined various interactions, removed things that can confuse AI, worked on cargo handling, made the cargo movement more realistic and dynamic. I don't know what the cav vehicle, I don't know what that is. The update ensures that vehicle movements align perfectly with the new cargo layout. Okay, so yeah, they're just making sure that the vehicles work properly, it looks like. All right, going into game intelligence development. So this was working on behind the scenes stuff, Apollo Starscript UX, drag and drop. Okay, animation, 0G movement on surfaces, weapon first selects and overheats, improved pickups, scene specific player information, numerous background animation for life around a key location. So this is stuff that I'm excited for, like being able to, like, you know how you put your hand on the surfaces? They showed that at CitizenCon, where you can like kind of walk with your hands on surfaces. That looks like it will be coming, because they were working on it for Squadron 42 and it's going to transfer over to us. Then weapon first selects and overheats. So I am excited for weapons to overheat, because I think right now, a lot of the time when I get into the FPS modes, people just shoot and they keep shooting and they keep shooting and they keep shooting, and then there's nothing happens. So I'm ready for the weapons to overheat. I want the FPS gameplay to be a little bit more tactical, a little leaning more towards Battlefield and less towards Call of Duty, if that makes sense. Significant progress was also made on a number of human enemy traps on the mocap side. Oh, they're still doing mocap stuff. I did not know that they were still doing mocap stuff. That's great. So that means there's going to be better animations coming, and continuously coming. It looks like there's more facial animations. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Graphics and VFX programming, alongside ongoing stability and performance improvements for Vulkan, which we need. The graphics team improved debug tooling for the long-term health of the dev experience. Global illumination is worked on. That'll help. That'll be ray trace. Ray tracing is going to be huge in this game, like just for the people who still have 10 series or below cards. I wouldn't switch. You don't have to switch this year, but I would the 5000 series is probably going to be the first jump that I would say is worth it. I think the 30 series cards were pretty good, but the 40 series cards are not great, and the 50 series cards are looking like they would be a pretty good jump in point. But we'll see. Then performance wise, that's still more about global illumination, destructible renderer objects such as gas cloud chunks. Okay, so I almost got excited there because I thought that was about to be like Maelstrom incoming, you know. Main fire hazard system wrapped. Oh, okay, so they kind of got fire figured out in Squadron 42. So I think we can say that it's very likely that we'll have fire. Fire will be one of the on-time things for 4.0. It looks like it's going to be on site. And then for the narrative team, what does it say here? It just says enjoyable entries. They moved back to live production with pickup shooting. Yeah, I guess they can't really say much here about the narrative because that's the part that we'll experience when we play the game. Yeah, and then VFX is just polishing. So that's the Squadron 42 monthly report. These are normally not that full because mostly what they're working on is polishing, but seeing this be this short, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 updates, that I'm thinking Squadron 42 is very close to being done. We'll see what they say in October, because a lot of this AI stuff, it looks like the AI stuff is taking up the last major section of release stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited for this because Squadron 42 is going to be the thing that allows CIG to stop focusing on ship sales so much and trying to get money out of people here. And then once they have all that money coming in, they can kind of defocus on ships and then start to focus on other stuff. And I'm still waiting, CIG. I'm still waiting on, you know, these what did they say they were going to do? They said they were going to be better referral rewards. So for people you bring to the game, they said there were going to be better, not just better referral rewards, but better concierge rewards. So for people who did that, I still don't know why you have to why the Million Mile High Club is based on referrals. That seems more like it should be based on concierge, shouldn't it? I don't know. But anyway, yep, that's it for this one. That's it for that. Well, that's it for the Squadron 42 part. If you're watching now, it's because you want to see my reaction to the Inside Star Citizen. But other than that, so peace to the people who are leaving. But for everybody else who's staying, let's get it done. Let's check this Inside Star Citizen out.
Two of its variants, as well as the new MFD rework that you've seen glimpses of here and there. It's a multifunctional show. Let's get to it.
All right, here we go. It's Zeus time, baby. I'm hyped for this ship. I don't even own one, and I'm hyped. Ooh, that's clean. Montreal.
Is a reimagining of the original RSI Zeus. Zeus was the first mass-made human exploration ship that was capable of doing quantum travel.
We didn't want to just make the Zeus again. We wanted to kind of pay homage to what made the Zeus important, what made it iconic back then. We wanted to kind of give that an update and kind of bring it up to modern day visuals and make sure it really feels RSI.
It's RSI style, but we feel it's almost a improvement upon the style. It's sort of an evolution of the style. And so players will appreciate the consistency with other RSI ships, but you can see the technological advancement of RSI. You may remember the Zeus from our episode in Jump Points a few weeks ago, and he's like,
I don't like the front end as much as I thought I would on the Zeus. I get why it's like that. It's got the 2 weapons, but
you've got your starter ship originally, and you've dipped your toes in a few gameplay loops, and you just want to be able to do a bit more. The Zeus is allowing you to do that with some friends.
the ship itself is pretty.
Supports up to 3 crew members, but you can fly.
Montreal team.
And if you've got a buddy, they can man the turret.
The Zeus is, for me, probably some of the best looking ships we've ever produced for Star Citizen.
This I agree on.
Visual standard in both their shape and style.
Very cool ship.
So when we release the Zeus, it comes with both the ES and the CL, both together in the same image. The ES is the exploration-focused variant of the Zeus, so it has a modest-sized cargo bay.
We're pausing. Tell me in the comments if you think that thing can fit an Ursa rover, because it does not look like it can fit one. It looks like it fits a mole. So this is the ES though, so I wouldn't necessarily expect this one to fit a rover. I would guess it would fit a Cyclone. But my only issue with that is there's so many versions of the Cyclone, and I want Explorer ships to be able to fit all of the versions of the Cyclone. And so my only issue is, can it fit all those versions of the Cyclone?
Larger hydrogen and quantum fuel tanks, a larger radar, and a more...
I like that interior. That part up there should have been a bed. They could have fit 4 beds.
cargo capacity. It does that by shunting the...
They can fit a rock.
Towards the front of the ship, so that increases the cargo capacity from 32 to 128 SCU at the expense of just really cramming in the living quarters to be much more compact.
Okay. I get why they didn't put the 4th bed, because it looks like they're very cramped for space. But it's just come on, it's right there. You see the spot. You see that. You can fit a 4th bed. But hey.
Got a very iconic RSI arrowhead shape.
We tried to stick to what was like the homage that the concept made for the first Zeus.
Montreal team.
Kind of central fuselage. And you've got this big kind of central mast with these lovely, kind of quite fast and aggressive looking wings. And they kind of just help to make it feel quite aggressive.
Do those move?
Which I think builds on what RSI as a brand.
Do those like stay up like this, or do they go down?
The flat surfaces, the mix of materials, I think, is very well balanced.
I'm still a massive fan of the underside. Undersides of our ships sometimes get a little bit underlooked, or overlooked. Yeah, but I think the underside, the belly, originally the plan was for it to be kind of completely smooth and completely all one surface. But as we start to work,
They do move.
we add a little bit of recesses, and we add a little bit of relief into this shape, just to kind of help build on the believability. And I think it was a real success.
So weaponry-wise, across all of them, the pilot has access to twin size 4 guns. And the side seats have access to the remote turrets.
I like the cockpit. Oh, that is cool. Hold on. That is cool. The way that thing comes out, we don't have that. I don't think we have that in any other ship. That is friggin' cool. Hey.
A little bit more structure and believability.
Respect, Montreal.
Ship. This is supposed to carry a lot more weight, so we want to kind of bulk up the main structural points. So we've got some large additional bracing down the center. And then the other thing that a cargo version is going to require is some additional thrust. So we want to kind of bulk up the main thrusters at the rear that allow you to take off. and those kind of downward pointing thrusters of component size, and add to that believability that this vehicle can lift a bit more weight than the base.
Has me excited for the Polaris though. Whoa! Hey! Whoa! 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 What was that? That was a new ship. Hey, folks, that was a new ship. We know that they're doing that now because of the Sabre Peregrine. Watch this ship. Watch this as it goes past.
Believability that this vehicle can lift a bit more weight.
I'm gonna pause it. Ah, that is a new ship, folks. What is that? What is that? Or maybe it's not a ship. Maybe it's a flying Atlas.
Really realised early on with the vehicle is that we crammed a lot of stuff into the space that we had to play with. So the cockpit is quite tight. We've got a nice kind of three-person cockpit up front, and the seating arrangement echoes that kind of arrow shape that we see on the exterior of the ship, and that just helps to make the pilot happy in the front seat, but also just ties everything together a little bit, which is lovely. As we go back through the ship, we go into the airlock and the engineering area. This area changed quite a bit during the...
Oh, this interior is fun. I love that interior. That interior is cool looking. I can see living in this ship. RSI might have jumped on my list of manufacturers. This is nice.
It has the kind of main docking collar, and it also has the ladder exit. So we've got our kind of two front exits on the vehicle. And then as we go back through the corridor section, we have a bit of crossroads. So you need to go into the kitchen area, which still has its nice window.
Looks very medical, sterile.
3 beds, toilet.
Very cramped, but I do like it. I like the color scheme.
Lockers, and everything you need really in terms of a cab.
Except multiple bathrooms. 3 people, you'd be all right.
That's really where we get to our larger ship components and our cargo area. With the cargo,
Okay.
there's obviously a lot more space dedicated to cargo compared to the base version. To achieve that, what we've had to do is adjust some of the kind of like the rear layout ships.
We had to rearrange the components so that they're closer up to the doorway. And we had to move the weapon locker from the corridor into the actual cargo hold. So there's a lot of rearranging.
I like the weapon rack right there.
Extra cargo in. We've also had to sacrifice some of the kitchen area. In the habitation, you lose the sofa.
That's not so bad.
But on the positive, we get much more cargo space, which for a dedicated cargo ship is the most important thing.
You'll notice that on the floor, there'll be blue trimming exactly where the player can place cargo.
Okay.
It's a lot easier for the player to know where you can access the components versus where you can place cargo on the sides.
This has been a great first full ship from concept to release for the Montreal vehicle team.
Go Montreal team.
That part, in the entire unit build, like the amount of work that goes into the ships is insane. Both
You can hear that hard work.
Cutters and really just done a fantastic job in taking what was the original vision of the ship and really delivering it in something that I think it looks great, it should play great, and I think they just did a fantastic job across the board.
to me, the final product shows there's nothing in any other game that can come close to the level of detail, the amount of thought that got put into every button, every component bay, everything.
Yeah, this thing is cool.
So the
I'm excited for this one.
great addition to the fleet of ships in Star Citizen, and being RSI, it obviously has that special touch, sharing the name of our company and founder. And we are excited to see this ship set foot in the verse and push along the RSI style ahead of a big year for RSI ships.
Ships don't set foot, jump this way.
Got that thing?
Just being argumentative.
Oh yeah, this MFD thing. From what people are telling me, this is incredible.
The MFDs and the ship hub and the PU is old, and the actual UI itself is very small.
That's the understatement.
Text is too small to read.
It's very samey, right? It has a bunch of stuff on it that you don't really use.
It's not very new user friendly. Any user. Yeah. Any user friendly.
It was good for its time. It did the job. It got us where we are today.
But it's time for something new, and that's what it's.
The reason why we
Okay.
is because
Let's pause a little bit. So, okay. We got shield. Oh, we got okay, so we got emissions. That's shield. Oh, that's a new icon right there. Weapons, obviously. Okay, and thrusters. Self status over there. Okay. Ready to scan. All right.
had a lot of time during the development of Squadron to create an expandable and a more robust system for MFDs.
We have a bunch of super nice NFTs ready for Squadron, and now we're moving them over to Star Citizen.
It's also really good to bring it over now.
Okay. I like it.
We've got a new resource network system, so we need to have...
Ooh, that's pretty cool. Oh, this is new. This is different. No, they're all pretty much the same. I like the thruster, front, lower left, lower right, upper left, upper right. That's pretty cool. That whole little diagnostics window is cool.
Support more gameplay. Initial release, there'll be 5 visual styles to the MFDs and the HUDs.
There's Aegis.
It's very militaristic and it's very sleek. Anvil is great. I love the green color of Anvil. It feels a lot more like an F-16 cockpit. Drake is my favorite. It's retro and Blade Runner and CRTs.
There's Argo.
It really feels like a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
And there's the generic style that will support all
RSI doesn't have one? You're working on RSI ships and you didn't do one for RS?
9 different views. Oh, how many is that even? Well, let's go through it.
We'll start with self-status. Self-status includes all of the critical information about your ship depending on your current operator mode. So you'll have your ammo numbers, guns mode, you'll have your missile army in missile mode, and your fuel readout in quantum mode.
Okay. I like that. I like the fuel readouts. Because just having a bar slowly go down is like, that's cool, I guess. But I want that number there. So yes, great. It's got the hydrogen fuel and it's got the quantum fuel there. So that's great. That's excellent.
There's also a unique version for turrets as well.
Yes! Specific. Yes! Come on, CIG. That's what I'm talking about. We need I don't want to look at the same things as a pilot does when I'm in a turret. I want to know more about the turret I'm in. That makes more sense.
We have taken away a lot of fat from there. So this is simply the result.
It's more condensed and it linked into the new systems that have been developed in terms of vehicle features. For example,
So is that Origin?
updated gimbal modes.
I love that kind of turns.
It also shows your front weapon group, which is a new thing as well.
Oh my goodness, the F8 is ridiculous.
The information about the target that you have currently selected.
Velocity faction. Okay.
Mostly going to be for a lot of players. The ship all you're going to want to see, am I dealing some damage to a target?
Oh, it shows the hits. Okay.
Do you know what missiles to use against them? And you'll see their names so you know that you're just shooting them the person.
It's not as much information because obviously if you want to see how much ammo they've got, you can scan them. But it will show you their health, it will show you their faction, it will show you their velocity. Weapon config is entirely new. It links into the new weapon grouping system. So it will list out every single weapon on your ship. the ammo that you have, they'll light up if they're selected, and also it allows you to assign them to one of 4 custom groups, so you can have any combination of weapons that you want firing at the same time, and it makes it easy to see which group of weapons you're firing.
And if you just don't assign one of those groups, if you feel like, well, 4's too many, I just use 2 anyway. Well, you can just assign to 2 of them, and then you'll be fine.
This will be valuable so the player can, in combat, switch between different modes depending on kind of distance and what kind of weapons they want to use.
On a day-to-day, you might be tracking down a particular target. It is the subject of a mission, and you know that a certain weapon is going to be more effective against them than another, or a certain weapon combination is going to be more effective. You can stick them all in one group and have quick access to that.
Yeah, I like that.
Shield is pretty much the same as
Let's pause there though for a little bit, because one of the things I'm noticing is because the information is on the screens where it's supposed to be. Can you notice how much easier it is to see space and see around you? It doesn't feel like you have this little space in the middle and this little space over here to see what's going on actually outside your ship. It feels like less claustrophobic when the UI is where it's supposed to be. So shout out to the UI team.
you can control each of your shield faces. If you have 4 shield faces, if you have 1, you can control the whole thing. And it gives you a reset button, so you can set it all back to default, and also you can see your total shield usage out of the maximum.
For the time being, this is going to be the same thing that you're already used to.
And along with that are scanning and communications. Scanning has been moved from the HUD to an MFD state. The new screens, the biggest one is power management.
Engines on.
It's a simplified version of what you'll find on an engineering terminal, but it's for sort of daily use for the pilot.
It's using the full power of the resource network system, and it gives it to you right there in the pilot seat, so you can do the full assignments as you like them if you're flying solo. This is also where you will see your emissions. So if you're doing anything stealthy, you go into power management, you set your settings to low, and you will see your emissions adjust accordingly.
You can turn on and off different systems in the ship. You can apply different levels of power to each system. You can see your total output, how much you're using, and you can also see different status readouts for those systems. So if something is run out of power or it's offline, it will also represent that on the power management MFD.
Engines off.
Along with that is the diagnostics view.
The diagnostics view is where you go to check in on your ship. If something's not feeling right, well, maybe check diagnostics.
It will show you where that component is, as well as its current health and its status.
Awesome. So being able, so this is like, I know that they're trying to make engineering game friendly, but I want it to be fun. I want engineering to be fun. I want it to be like, okay, you put out a fire, right? But now there's damage to that component. What do you do? Well, if you're a really good engineer, then you know that you have to take out the parts that were fire burned and completely replace them, because you can't repair burned materials, right? Or maybe there is a special way that you have to handle burned materials. Whereas if there was no fire and there was a bullet hole, then you can repair that the traditional way. And maybe it was none of that and the part just stopped working because it was hit with distortion damage. So in that case, you have to take it out and recharge the entire piece. So you can kind of get what I'm saying, where it's like your own knowledge as an engineer can affect how well you repair the ship and gamify it a little bit. So yeah, I'm hoping that happens. And this is, you can see why I'm like really, hyped for a repair to enter the game. But yeah, just this screen, just this MFD alone is already awesome.
The errors, and there'll be a summary at the top of the screen that shows you how many of your components have errors. And last, what I'm really excited about is the configuration screen. It takes a lot of
yes
that were hidden away in the...
Yes, a lot of people were saying that this is one of the most awesome things about it, because normally you'd have to pause the game and try to find this, and then because you have to pause the game, find the setting, then click it, and then go out of the menu, figure out if it's working the way you thought, And then if it isn't, you got to go back in, find the setting again, and like keep doing that over and over and over again. And we probably all have done. I don't know if everybody's done it, but if you use these settings that it's showing here, you've probably done it a bunch of times. And it's one of the reasons why like I'm pulling back from the game, because I spend so much time just prepping to play because the systems are not in to save my settings the way that I need them to be saved. On top of that, there's issues, right? Like I use 4 different controllers. So the game sometimes it only reads 3 of my controllers. So all of my settings are just trash now because it didn't read all of the settings. So I love when they add stuff like this.
The options menu or just in the back end and puts them right there for you to toggle in world on your MFD screen instantly.
The configuration view is great. You can now turn off unwanted UI if you really wish to. You can turn off the cast, which is my favorite part. If you have screens on the top left and top right of your screen, then you can turn off those casts now to clear the UI a little bit.
So this configuration screen allows you to configure a few aspects of some different MFD states, as well as what goes on your HUD and how that looks.
You can finally control what goes on our HUD.
We can finally control what goes on our HUD. Yeah. So let's talk about the HUD. When using the configuration screen, you can choose whether or not you're showing your MFD casts, which are simplified and more tactile versions of the self-status and target status screen.
Functionality-wise, it's stuff you know already. You have your velocity, you have your afterburner, you have your annunciators, and you have different indicators.
They show critical information when you can't look at your dashboard in front of you. So if you're in a fighter and you're looking up in the sky, you can still see that, as well as allowing you to still see that information when you're in precision targeting mode.
We've decided to clear up all of the nonsense we have in the middle and kind of make it out of the way into the middle of the screen. So
What took so long, Joe?
I'm sorry, it wasn't me.
He said it wasn't me. So one quick thing I will say about this stuff, right? If you don't know what all of this stuff means, and even if you're newer to the game, if you don't know what everything means on this screen, find out, because the more you know about your ship and the more you know what everything on your ship does, the better. It's why I try to get people, I haven't really done this like through videos, but I try to get people to fly the same ship over and over and over again and practice in the same ship until they master that ship and then move on to the next one. So I'm actually working through doing this myself. So I'm not trying to talk like I'm just like this super Star Citizen player. If you've played with me, you know I'm not that. But I'm actually working through this myself. I actually don't have access to the Pirate Caterpillar. I don't have access to the Scythe, I think. Whatever the ones that you earn in Arena Commander, I don't have access to those. But I've been waiting because I want to pass those things. I want to earn those things through master modes once master modes gets to a better state, which it's decent now. I'm not saying it's terrible, but yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to practice in these ships and you will get better. Now, learn how to practice right. Avenger 1 is really good at showing people how to fight. Even in master modes, even though he doesn't particularly like master modes, he's still really good at showing you how to fight. And then there's plenty of other, I want to say, I don't know if his name is Moist Noodle. I can't remember the names of the other folks, so I apologize for that. But there's plenty of people that show you how to fight in Star Citizen. So check those folks out so that you know how to practice, because you don't want to practice wrong and then have all these bad things go into muscle memory, like these bad habits go into muscle memory, and now you can't unlearn them because you've been practicing wrong. So there's no like right way to fight, but there are better ways to fight.
We've also done a little bit of work making the radar and HUD feel more diegetic and making it look like it actually exists in the cockpit with grounding effects and emission rate origin points as well.
It all just feels so much better. It feels real. So with this new ship and vehicle HUD, it's just going to be a clearer experience. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you don't have stuff in your face all the time. It's going to be clearer in the sense that you can actually read the UI. So I think you'll be very happy with it. It's gonna be
Quality of life.
a nice thing to just be out in space and be able to see space, right?
Not in that cockpit you just showed though, because it's a mail slot.
Well, we learned that the Zeus is the first ship made by the newly established Montreal vehicle.
Well, they made the cutter.
MFD rework is an exciting
I think they made the cutter.
and customizable upgrade to what we've had before, and that it plugs nicely into the upcoming resource network and engineering work scheduled for Alpha 4.0, which we'll, of course, will be showcasing next week. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you.
I like that he added people and process. I like that they added people and process. Can't forget the people. That's why I'm going to CitizenCon. Right? I can't wait to meet some of these folks that I've been watching on screen for almost 10, or no, I guess it's 7 years. 7 years I've been watching some of these folks on screen just talk about this game, and now I finally get to go and meet some of these people. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's it. That's Star Citizen Nightly. We'll start doing that. Well, I'll just do the reaction thing at the end so the people who aren't interested can just log off. But yeah, that's it for Star Citizen Nightly. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for spending your time with us, and shout out to the members. Peace.